It just makes sense that a well-praised horde shooter like Deep Rock Galactic would ultimately have a quick cash grab version of itself that heavily copies and undermines the average action roguelike. It's critical that you add more features to a game, especially when copying mechanics from other creators, otherwise it'll just feel like a reskin, repetitive, and lacking real progression that encourages you to sit down and play through it because it's fun, rather than feeling like a chore. I've got nothing against Deep Rock Galactic. It was a good game for a short time, just like any other co-op horde or survival-based game. It was fun to play with friends for a while, just messing around. But I never saw the real interest behind it, especially with how the developers didn't really expand on the concept after early access, as it slowly turned into a repetitive and long, uninteresting daily grind, especially with their overclock progression. Deep Rock Galactic Survivor contributes nothing to the action roguelike genre but pure frustration. It only detracts and makes your life a living hell with how blatantly grindy it is. To give you some perspective on it, imagine if they doubled down on the RNG overclocking in the original game and just made a lot of the features in this game similar to that. If that doesn't put you off a little bit, then you'll probably have fun with it, but I just can't see that being the case. It really does feel like it's trying to fit into the overall theme of, we had a good thing going with the base game, so let's go ahead and see how far we can push our luck without actually trying. There's just an overabundance of pointless achievements in the game, most of which you can't even unlock until you unlock more features later on, as you are forced to redo levels over and over again until you complete the goals to unlock higher difficulties, which doesn't really motivate you to unlock them because the game is so downright against you, the player. The entire game is RNG in how you progress, but in other action roguelikes you have some control over what you want to do and what you want to unlock, but that isn't the case with this game. If you want to unlock anything, you have to complete each and every map on Hazard 1, achieving every goal before you're able to unlock specific characters, new weapons that then unlocks the goals that you couldn't acquire previously, which then forces you to go back and repeat one of those lower hazard maps to gain the missing point that you needed to unlock Hazard 2, Hazard 3, Hazard 4, and then contracts and other missions, which really isn't fun as it honestly feels like a chore due to how infrequent materials are dropping. It really does demand that you spend an insignificant amount of time going down into the caverns in search of a run that you may obtain materials that you can mine with your pickaxe and then bring back up to unlock all of the other upgrades. The problem with this is that you're never guaranteed to locate resources or a large number of resources on any given run, and it costs an incredible amount for such a minor modification that really doesn't help you all that much. In this example, I did a run on Magma Hazard 1 and acquired barely 5 of each resources and 15 of one in particular while running around and focusing more on finding the creatures and nodes rather than focusing on leveling up and killing the enemies. This felt like a complete waste of your time since you're wasting 24 minutes running around for a handful of materials, and after all of that work, killing the boss and surviving, you're only getting so many, meaning on average it should take about 4 to 5 runs to get 2 or 3 upgrades early on and many more when it jumps up to 25 per. The whole gameplay is you being dropped down into a cavern, and your goal is clear: to survive until you can complete the objective assigned to you, then return to the drill to progress deeper. Your main goal outside of the main goal is to gather as many materials as possible before you become overwhelmed, while also picking up the EXP to unlock better powers, which most are pretty terrible. Only a few of them actually feel like they do anything, even at their highest level. Each run has you accumulating such tiny amounts of resources that it really does feel like it's actually going to take tens of hours to unlock anything meaningful that can help you with your future runs. I've played a lot of action roguelikes, good, bad, and everything in between, and this by far was my least favorite. There's nothing against the original game, but there's no purpose in wasting your time on this. For one, it's single player, it has nothing rewarding, and the game is a pure time sink riding off its prior success. It genuinely feels like the developers are trying to milk it like any other. It's mediocre when compared to any other action roguelike, offering nothing new to the genre besides the need to mine a few walls and resource nodes when they get in your way.